This is the sixth book critique. This book critique includes a variety of picture books, modern fantasy, and an African American literature or multicultural book. The feature text for this book critique is Beagle. I chose this because of the fantastic message about perseverance that it gives to the students. I believe that it relays a strong message that anything is truly possible. All you have to do is set out in search of your happiness, and as you go about your life, you will find that specific thing that you are looking for. Beagle is about an imaginary friend who was never chosen, and he dreamed about finding the perfect human to be friends with. One day, he decided to go in search of this person. He searches here and there and everywhere, until one day he meets a little girl who also had never had a friend before, and became best friends. I chose to create a reading and writing language arts lesson for this book. I retrieved the reading lesson from the Ohio Common Core Standards, where it says, "Students will distinguish their own point of view from that of the narrator or those of the characters." In this lesson, the teacher and the class would read the story aloud, and then the students would discuss with their peers their opinion about the story. Next, they will use Flipgrid to lead their virtual account of how they would feel if they were in Beagle's shoes. I have created my own Flipgrid video as a model to my students on how I would feel if I was Beagle. The students' responses will be shared to all of the parents in the classroom via email to show how we are extending our learning to different aspects of life, such as perseverance and determination. This is the Flipgrid that I created as a model to my students.
After reading Beagle and thinking about the question of how I would feel or react if I was in Beagle's shoes, I concluded that I would be a little nervous to go out into an unfamiliar place by myself and look for someone that I did not know. I would probably take a lot longer on the decision to leave my home, and I would be nervous to know if I would find the right child to be friends with once I left.
Next is the writing lesson. I retrieved this standard from the Ohio Common Core Standards, where it says, "With guidance and support from adults, students will produce writing in which the development and organization are appropriate to the task and the purpose." Here, students will create their own story of when they were brave and tried something that scared them. They are asked to brainstorm with their partners about this topic, and then compose the story using Storybird. The students will share their stories with an important figure in their lives who has impacted a decision that he or she has made. This role model will write a response to the student's story. When the student presents the story to the classroom, he or she will give the role model's response to the story as well. The Snowy Day is about a young boy named Peter who had an eventful day in the snow. He made a smiling snowman, snow angels, and a ton of snowballs. He tried to bring a snowball into his house so that he could have it for later, but his house was warm and it began to melt. When Peter went to sleep, he had a dream that all the snow had melted. When he awoke the next morning, he was delighted to find that the snow had not melted and it was still snowing. The Little House is about a house that was in the country, when one day the country started to be transformed into a big, new city. The city was built around the small, old house. The city grew bigger and bigger, and yet the little house remained. Finally, the little house was transported into the country, where once again she had a beautiful view and was well taken care of. The Kitten's First Full Moon is about a small kitten who believes that the full moon that she is seeing in the sky is a big bowl of delicious milk. The kitten sets off on an adventure to try to reach this big bowl of milk. But when she is unable to, she returns home to find her own small bowl of milk on her front porch. The final book for this book critique is The Biggest Bear. It is about a young boy who is disappointed that he does not have a bearskin hanging on his wall. He decides to go into the woods and shoot his first bear. But the only bear that he could find was a small bear cub. He fed the bear, and it followed him home. The small cub began to grow, and soon he was eating everything. even their neighbor's food. The young boy was told that he had to go into the woods and shoot the bear cub. Before the young boy could shoot it, the bear took off and dragged the young boy throughout the woods.